What's up, guys? So we just got done with the group stage of Champions, and it was pretty sick, if I'm being honest. I think the groups went fairly normal, other than maybe Group C and Liquid. Liquid and DRX kind of flipped as far as how I thought they would perform, and that was insane. But I think the biggest surprise of the tournament has to be Bilibili. They beat Energy twice to get out of this group with Fnatic. Like, that is the craziest thing ever in my eyes. But they deserve it. Obviously, they went 4-0 in maps, beating NRG. NRG just has to feel so silly after that. But anyway, this is a Pickems video. And before we start, I just want to kind of go through what happened for groups. So we obviously had PaperX, EDG getting out of this top group. I was pretty accurate here other than the Crew Giants game. I said this was 50-50, and Giants just looked really good, and Crew did Crew things, right? They lost the closest games possible in the most heartbreaking ways to lose against Giants. So props to Giants, but also kind of some egg in Giants' face right there for talking all that shit to EDG and then falling short against them twice. Of course, it has to be twice, just like NRG. Group B actually played out exactly how I thought it would. I got a little bit nervous at the rematch game between Foot and T1, but man, Foot looked really good actually in this group. And even in this game against EG, I thought Foot played it really well. Group C, again, like the shocking thing in this tournament was the fact that Bilibili beat Energy twice, 2 times, 4-0 on maps. They were clearly the better team in comparison to NRG. They didn't even get to play Zeta Division, so I would imagine they would have beaten Zeta Division based on how they played against Fnatic and NRG, but whew, wild things happened there in Group C at the lower part, but Fnatic still looks goated. Group D, Liquid massively underperformed in my eyes. The first game against Navi was kind of coin flippy. Obviously, the two teams have a lot of reps against each other, so you know, those domestic games, they can get weird, right? Because they played each other a lot in EMEA. But Navi ended up taking that, and Navi looked really, really good in this group, if I'm being quite honest. I think that last game, Loud versus Navi could have easily won that game. Easily. It could have been a 2-0 in Navi's favor. It could have been a 2-0 in Loud's favor. That series was so close. And I think if it wasn't for like Les and Sadak having heroics on that last bind map, we would be seeing Navi go through. You know, that I think it was like a 4v2 on P site. Dude, that was so ridiculous with a judge coming out of hookah just to keep their tournament hopes alive. And basically, you know, I ended up here, which compared to my LCQ runs, this was pretty good. I think there's only like 3.8 or 3.9% of people got more points than me in the group stage. So we're kind of eating here, but we are now doing the pick'em for the bracket stage. And this is going to get wild because our bracket is so stacked and it's so insane. Fnatic versus Loud is the opening game of the bracket. That's so crazy to me. So Loud did look pretty good, right? I think Ospas had his moments. Wasn't like vintage VCT America's Ospas, but he still looked really good. I liked the fact that they ran the Harbor Viper on Haven. It was actually, according to a tweet I saw, like a last minute choice. This wasn't even something that they had been practicing apparently, and they switched into the Harbor Viper, and it looked so good. I really hope they go into Harbor. I know like the Harbor Viper right now doesn't have a very good win rate on Pearl, but Loud made it look so good. And I know just how they take map control with that comp is special. It's super strong. I can't favor them against Fnatic if they're not going to use a comp like that, because Fnatic doesn't have much experience against a Harbor Viper. It's kind of something that's exclusive to our region and VCT Americas, of course. And if Loud isn't going to run that, and they're going to run these double initiator comps with like Breach, Fade, you know, stuff like that on all these maps, honestly, I'm going to side Fnatic. And the weird thing about the Loud bind comp, the triple controller, I was talking to Yinsu about it. You know, the only time we've seen that is Fnatic. Fnatic knows how the triple controller on bind works. And I thought the triple controller looked really cool. I love how Sadak was getting control across the map using the Omen one ways. For those of you who don't know, it's an Omen 1 trick. So I thought it was really cool to see. And all of that said, I think there's just no way any team is beating Fnatic in this opening stage. They just looked so good across the board, and I just know they can play Pearl, and they just haven't yet. I don't think they allow Loud to play Pearl against them, but if they need to later on in the tournament, they're so ready to play Pearl. Just that way people at home know. Paper Rex versus Foot. Foot looked really good, but to say that I'm impressed by Paper X would be a massive understatement. I am over the moon about Paper X right now, guys. I just think there's so much skill on the team. There's innovation. There's all of the stuff of vintage Paper X that we used to get, right? Except now it's like their power entering the sites and from man down situations is crazy strong. I'm taking Paper X in this series. Foot, even though they played well in group stage, I think the gimmick of the Brimstone comp on Pearl is not going to work against Paper X. Paper X's Pearl looks ridiculous, and the pace at which they play at could cause some problems for that Brimstone comp, which relies on a lot of stalling, right? So Paper X is going to make that utility come out of Foot super early if they opt to play Pearl. And we haven't even seen a large portion of Paper X's map pool. Dude, I would be silly to not pick Paper X right here. DRX versus Bilibili. This is a game where I actually think if groups panned out a little bit differently, I would give the upset to Bilibili. I'm kind of on the fence here, right? I think Bilibili had pretty poor pistol round showings, if I remember correctly, which isn't something that I am a huge buyer in the long term. I think teams can flip that around quite easily, especially with the skill level I see on Bilibili. Like I said earlier, the shock of the tournament so far is Bilibili in my eyes. But DRX came into this tourney with crazy good form across all 5 players. I knew heading into groups, but after I made my Pickems, like I made my Pickems, and that night I ended up playing Stacks and Mako in ranked, and I said on the desk, like the opening day, I was like, I wish I could change my Pickems. Like, you should change your Pickems, because the form of the DRX players, I could feel it in the server. I know that sounds crazy, but there's something about like relative form of the players, like mechanical form at a given moment. It's up and down. It's not consistent. And I could tell they were all in very good form. And that even showed in their matches, right? Even Zest, who typically doesn't have a lot of pop-off moments, had tons in group stage. He was by far my biggest standout player when I watched them, actually. Ironically, I think Mako, of all people, has the most room to actually improve in his performance, which is insane to think of when I think of DRX. I think this is their tournament where they can make a pretty good run, and I'm taking DRX right here. I feel pretty good about it, actually. They have 8 days to practice after group stages, which some people could argue that could be a negative thing, but for a team like DRX to change up their playbook at all, change any problems they might be having, 8 days is insane. They played their opening game on day 1, and they played their second game on day 2. So they were the first team to advance out of groups. That is a huge benefit. They were able to watch all of these games. EG versus EDG. This has to be my favorite matchup of this first round. On one hand, we have Boostio, who basically said like Chinese Valorant will like never live up to like NA Valorant and stuff like that. And here we are in the bracket stage of champions with 2 Chinese teams and 1 NA team. That is so insane that it's already happening. It's already happening. Oh shit. I think these are both contenders along with DRX to make a kind of run in this tournament. The form of EDG looks insane. Nobody was popping off in group stage. He had so many ridiculous rounds, like lurking Sky type beat. Like, I've never seen a Sky make the plays that this guy made in that game. Kong popped off at moments. I think, he has been better at moments in the past, but I still think his form is ridiculous. The skill on EDG is so insane. This is a game where I think EG really, really needs Demon 1 to perform. And I said it on my stream, like throughout my co-streams, that I think Demon 1's form here is much better than it was in Tokyo. He seems much more comfortable, playing in Los Angeles, which is where all of VCT Americas was. I'm going to go bold here. I hate to do this because EG are my boys. Honestly, I kind of hope I'm cursing them here, and I hope EG ends up winning, but I'm going EDG here. That's crazy that I'm doing that. Lower bracket round 1, Loud versus Foot. I'm still a believer in Loud. I don't give a shit if Osvos didn't show up to that press conference. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I've seen Dead Team Smell win tournaments before. This team is insane. Les is insane. What they cooked up on Bind was sick. And they showed me too, based on how they played Ascent, they're willing to go back to their old comps. So even though they practiced Ascent with this weird ass breach fade comp, they were willing to go default comp, which I know they're good on. So the fact that they can pivot now between these comps in bracket stage is super strong for Loud. Now, they were one of the last teams to advance into the playoffs, so it does hinder them a little bit here as far as practice time goes, but at least they're getting in like late match reps. Got that going for them. EG versus Bilibili. I think EG should take this. I'm looking for EG to make a run here through the lowers, hopefully. I don't know if that's going to be possible based on what's about to happen in the upper bracket, but I'm taking EG. DRX versus EDG. I think DRX's structure could maybe give EDG some problems, but EDG's skill could definitely cause DRX to shell up. I didn't see DRX shell up in group stage. Sometimes when DRX in the past got like punched in the face by a super aggressive team, or a team that has like, you know, star players really popping off, they would get like scared and they would stop peeking Angs and they would play very shelled up and they would lose mid-rounding. It would just be gone, right? It would just be set play, set play, set play, set play. I didn't see that in group stage, and I'm hoping I don't see it here. I think I kind of want to ride the hot hand. I think I'm going to take DRX here. This is... and then up here, dude, Paper X versus Fnatic. This is kind of where I want to make my like super bold play and go Paper X just for the sake of having an upset here. I know this is like an upset, but this could actually cook my entire bracket. Go big or go home. This is so hard. Why is this so hard? Paper X versus DRX. Oh shit. AVAC rematch. Bro, Achilles would be popping off if this happened. I hope this doesn't happen. I just think the skill across Paper X is something super special. Something had some slow starts in these games. I thought he was a little bit nervous in the start of the games, but once he warmed up into the game and they had like Jing and something and Forsaken just going so hard in the dude, I don't know. It makes me want to pick them over Fnatic just because it's a pace that Fnatic's not really used to. It's so much skill. And it's also innovation, stuff that like Fnatic hasn't seen before. And if there's ever a team to beat Fnatic, I feel like this is the team along with EDG. I feel like EDG and Paper X have a really good shot against Fnatic. And it makes me want to pick them here just for the sake of picking the underdog, just be contrarian. Again, I'm taking Paper X over DRX. Fnatic versus EG. Based on what we saw in Tokyo, I have to go Fnatic. Bro, I feel like such a traitor. EDG versus Loud. Ironically, I think Loud can do this. Dude, Loud just looks so confident in the most dire situations. Like, they should not have any confidence, but they've been there before. They've won champions before. I'm taking Loud, dude. Like, this is insane. This is actually insane of me. I don't think Fnatic loses in the lowers. So I think Fnatic can beat Loud. I just think Loud... They're not in their like VCT Americas form or past Harbor Viper meta, and this is where it catches up. You know, like I think Les, Osbos, I think Kawanzine had a pretty good group stage. I thought Sadak made some really good calls and had some pop-off moments. But I think this is kind of where they run out of steam. I cannot see them beating Fnatic. And then the grand finals, Paper Rex versus Fnatic. Paper Rex having double bans and forcing Fnatic to play Pearl. But Fnatic will have a comp that no one's ever seen before. They're going to have some way of playing Pearl that's going to catch Paper Rex off guard. And they're going to probably win this shit, aren't they? But no, I'm a paper boy. I lock in Paper Rex. F it. All right, let's go. Paper Rex. Dude, I cannot believe it. This is so stupid of me. That is my pick'em. 100%. I'm locking it in. I don't care. I know it's crazy. Don't copy me. It's probably dead wrong. I don't give a shit. I think if I went like all chalk, like if I just, I don't know. I wasn't taking any risks. I would probably do something like this. Just so that way you guys are aware of like the risks I'm taking and like what I think is likely to happen with. Ooh, see, this is what actually could happen. Dude, this could actually happen. Paper Rex could win from lowers. Oh shit. Dude, I feel like this is actually the true pick'em right here. But no, I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it. All right, this is my pick'em. I hope you guys enjoy. Peace out. Thank you guys.